What is going on, YouTubers? It's YXBA here. I want to talk about what Nintendo needs to do with an X. First, I want to start off by giving a farewell to GameTrailers.com. Today, GameTrailers announced that they are closing their doors and they're shutting the lights out. Apparently, what they've said is that over the years, YouTube has pretty much become the one and only place for everybody to get all of their videos, and I guess their viewership has just gone down, and financially they're unable to make it anymore. It saddens me because especially Kyle Bosman. That guy was really funny, really entertaining, and obviously a passionate Nintendo fan and a passionate gamer. I'm hoping that a lot of the personalities end up living on in some way, shape, or form on YouTube. So getting back to an X, I'm not gonna base anything on rumors that we've heard, things that have been leaked out, patents, any of that stuff. Today, I just want to talk about, in my opinion, what Nintendo needs to do with an X to grow a bigger install base than they had with the Wii U, and what I think they need to do going forward. Number one, I think Nintendo needs to stop viewing each generation as something entirely unique. See, the problem is that they can have a big success one generation with a brand new concept like they did with the Wii, and then when they come out with a new system, it's so different that, it's like the Wii market didn't necessarily see that as, a direct and natural upgrade over the platform that they had bought previously and loved. It was so different that you basically have to not start from scratch, because you're always going to have the hardcore Nintendo fans, guys like us, that buy the system on day one every time. But you're not really building up a long-term base the way that Sony and Microsoft are doing. And I don't want to give those guys all the glory, but they have done a really good job of building up a base of fans and then growing that each generation after the next. And despite a few wrinkles here or there, the things that people love about PlayStation, the things that people love about their Xbox, carries over every generation, and you kind of know what to expect. It used to be that with Nintendo, of course I love the first party Nintendo games, and that was probably the main thing that I think I loved, but it used to be that they had very competitive systems in terms of hardware specs. In my opinion, the original Nintendo, well, it didn't really have any serious competition, at least not in North America. But the Super Nintendo did have the Sega Genesis, which was quite popular in North America as well. But it was very, technically speaking, it either competed directly with the Sega Genesis or in many ways was more powerful. And then the N64, again, was in most ways significantly more powerful than the PlayStation 1. And again, the GameCube was more powerful than the PlayStation 2 and the Dreamcast. And of course, Xbox came out, and that was a bit more powerful than the GameCube. But when you look at the overall competition, it was a very competitive system in terms of graphical prowess. And I just want to see Nintendo return to that. I want to see a system that comes out and, we know what we're going to get. We're going to get a quirky controller that's innovative, has some things that are different about it, but I don't want to see it be too drastically different that the vast majority of games don't make sense with that controller. So Nintendo's in a little bit of an interesting situation with the NX. If it comes out at the end of this year, approximately 3 years after the release of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Is it competing against PS4 and Xbox One, or is it competing more against PS5 and the next Xbox? We don't really know right now, because we don't know when the competition is going to come out with a console. But I think that the best idea would be to come out with a system that is more powerful than the PlayStation 4 and is easy to develop for, and then have some way to future-proof it against PS5. Like, what if PS5 comes out 2 years after the NX and is 8 times as powerful as the NX? That's going to be a challenge for Nintendo. So that's where I love the cloud computing patent, the opportunity to possibly release a system right now that rivals the PS4, but if you buy a supplemental computing device or multiple supplemental computing devices, it can go much more powerful. They can keep growing the power without having to resell you everything that comes with it. You can just buy some more raw power at a cheaper cost than buying an all-new console. You know, that's a big part of it. And the other big part of it is what I'd like to see the controller is to be different than the competition, but similar to the GameCube controller, how it was, you know, slightly different than the PS2 controller and had some really cool things about it. Like, personally, I loved how you had the big A button in the middle, and then you had the X, Y, and B buttons surrounding it. That was different, and to me it felt great, and the whole shape of the controller was great. So maybe go back to something like that, but maybe have everything else about the controller to be similar to the PlayStation 4 controller, where you've got your 2 analog sticks, you've got a great D-pad, and you've got your 2 shoulder buttons as well. So that's what I'd like to see them do. And in terms of the system features, again, I know this is pretty boring, right? Like, we're basically just saying copy the PlayStation 4, but it's not totally how I mean it. I just mean that we should have all of the features that those other systems have. There needs to be some form of achievements. We need to be able to share our videos and stream them easily off the consoles. We're getting Nintendo accounts now. We want that, right? We want to have our account that is just ours, and then maybe when another family member plays on the system, our save files are totally different. I don't know about you, but have you ever been in a situation where there's kids around and you play off the same console right now? There's a good chance that they might overwrite one of your saves. You know, some of the games on Wii U have separate save files depending on the Nintendo ID, but other games like Donkey Kong Country actually had the same 3 save files across all user counts in one system, and we got to go away from that. Also, there's got to be things like voice chat and instant messaging. You know, those are the basics. I want Nintendo to compete directly with their competitors, matching feature for feature, but then add on top of that Nintendo innovation. I don't think there needs to be a trade-off of innovation or power. I think that you can do both if you do it right. Nintendo can compete directly as to not turn off newcomers and turn off PlayStation and Xbox users. So bring them in with that familiar experience, but blow them away with innovation. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please leave your comments below and like this video and subscribe.